Robert Fair's The Diary, written by Mark Quinn.
This episode of The Diary is called Cooking Class. Grandma's singing. It sounds like those cats I hear every night at the bottom of our garden. She said the other week that she'll go on the X Factor. Thank God that pile of rubbish finished. Plus, I think that bloke in the high pants would strangle her. Vimto. A boy's best friend. I can fart for England when I drink this. I farted the national anthem last week while Grandpa was watching the football. He wasn't pleased as he didn't know if the smell was me or Grandma's cabbage stew. Oh, pardon me. Well, on with this week's entry into my diary. I shall write this in big letters and in pink. Katie Singleworth said I was gay for liking the colour pink. What does she know? She looks like her brother Kenny, but with a wig on, the drag queen. Fatty Jones said she's got more facial hair than his dad, and she started crying and ran off to tell the teacher. I'll write this in purple. Telltale. Hairy chops. Well, this week we had cookery class. It was like an exam. And we had Mr. Angry himself taking the class, Fatty Jones's namesake, the horrible science teacher, Mr. Jones. And what a disaster that was. I was paired up with Keith Winterbottom, and he couldn't cook up a good fart, never mind anything edible. Fatty Jones was with Smithy, and Katie Singleworth was on her own because she smells of fish. I wanted to make cornflake pie with a side of custard, but Keith said the texture reminded him of the eczema on his mother's arms, so we quickly decided to make Rice Krispie cakes instead. I'm not saying his mother is a scabby cow or anything, but I went for dinner once and we had pasta bolognese and I didn't know if it was Parmesan cheese or flakes from his mother's scalp. Right, back to the disaster that is can't cook, won't cook, but will eat it all anyway, Fatty Jones. He was making popcorn muffins with Smithy. And not even before the microwave could finish, Fatty opened the door just before the popcorn was to pop, and boy did it pop. All over the classroom it went. Some of it got stuck in Fishy Knicker's hair, and Fatty Jones was on the floor like a vacuum cleaner, like the big fat Hoover he is.
Robert?
Yes, what is it?
Robert!
Hang on, Grandpa, I'm coming. Stupid old fart can't even open a door. Yes, thank you, Grandpa. I will have chips. Don't know why they have to ask silly questions. Of course I want chips on my barn cake. Where was I? Yes, the cookery disaster. Well, me and Keith were making our Rice Krispie mix when I noticed him picking his nose and dipping it in the mix for a taste. I'll write this in green ink. Dirty bastard. Before I could say anything, and I feel like heaving now, Fatty Jones came up behind him and sucked his finger. I mean, Fatty has seen Keith itch his own arse before with that very finger, and he was sucking on it like a lollipop. Then Mr. Jones came over, and for no reason I can think of, apart from being an utter turd, banged on the tabletop with so much force that Fatty bit down on Keith's bogey finger, causing blood to spurt all over the place. I quickly reacted by stepping out of the way, only to stand on Popcorn Sally's foot, aka Fishy-knickers, making her scream and throw her cake mix all over the already outraged Mr. Jones. So, that was that. We all ended up in detention. We had to clean the full classroom from top to bottom. Fatty and Keith had to go and get tetanus jabs from the school nurse. And I had to ring up home and tell my grandpa and grandma that I wouldn't be home on time. I tell you, that cookery class stressed me out. But then again, stressed is just desserts spelled backwards.
That was a Mark Quinn production, read by Jennifer Quinn.